Well, for Sturdy, not Pedro. We're live though, people. Just ashing real quick.
Indeed, we are.
Yes. Episode 97, people. 90 fucking 7. We're 3 episodes away from 100. I can't wait for episode 100. It's gonna be a good time. I know it's gonna be a good, fun time. I'm hoping that everybody's gonna be here for it. We're shooting for that. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But
oh, there better be. They'll be hell to pay.
Yes.
Indeed.
But real quick, I'm gonna drop the intro and then we're gonna just
let's do it.
Review these movies and do what we do. Let's go. What's up? Bet you weren't expecting to see this. I wasn't. But I know you guys were waiting for tonight. And tonight's gonna be an interesting episode. A little more serious than normal, but we're still gonna have a good time with it. Moonlight and Nothing But a Man. See how these two movies connect. We'll figure that out as well. Episode 97, though, people, were here. Getting closer to that 100. I can't wait. It's gonna be a good time. But I'm gonna shut the fuck up so we can all start popping off. See you there. Yeah.
I'm concerned about what popping off could mean to multiple different people.
Yeah, especially with this movie. But by popping off, people, I meant popping off at the mouth, talking about these movies and popcorn.
By the way, the beard looked good.
Thank you. Gotta love Snapcam, man. I have so much fun with that shit. And you know what? I kind of have a connection already. I'm sure we'll come up with more. But
yeah, man, there's probably a few.
I want to say off the rip for both. Well, yeah, because it's a connection is Black Pain. You see it in both, and for different reasons. Like for Moonlight, it wasn't like about racism and all that shit. And for Nothing But a Man, it was exactly about that. That's where you see pain from different ways, and like with Nothing But a Man, of course, you see, the guys working on the railroad and all that shit. The movie came out in the 60s, but the story took place earlier than that. Did they ever tell us what year?
No, it's what I was trying to figure out when I was looking up the trivia. It came out.
Well, you know what?
Before
it could have been. Then again, it could have been around those times. It probably wasn't.
It may not. If it was supposed to be earlier than that, it couldn't. I wouldn't have assumed that much earlier.
No, it couldn't have. As a matter of fact, it was around those times. And the reason why I'm saying it is because I wasn't even thinking about the cars that were in it. Were like mid to late 50 models, maybe early 60s for some. And it was just like it was a good movie overall. It's not something I would go for to like watch a movie to be entertained, of course, but it was a good movie overall because of the story it told. And yes, it is slow.
Are we starting? I guess we're starting with it.
Yeah, and we'll get to our ratings in a second. Well, you know what? Let's get to our ratings now, and I'll go first this time because I'm always throwing you guys under the. I'm not even gonna pull us up.
Wow.
So as of right now it could change as we talk about it more, but as of right now, I'm gonna give Nothing But a Man a 5, and then you can go with your rating. Then we'll dive into the reasons right after. 3. Okay. And like for me, again, I understood what was going on in the story, and it just, I guess it's one of those things where like I kind of get, not that I don't think the story should be told, but I kind of get tired of seeing the Black Pain stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know if these movies are and I'm not blaming these movies, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if these type of movies are helping or hurting like our current times. Not that this isn't a popular movie, I know that, but I'm just saying, just in general, of just like watching these type of films, I do think that to learning about the stuff is important, but at the same time, it gets kind of, it's just like, I'm tired of seeing this shit. It's just like we know the story
What's
and we've lived the story. Not to the extent of this, but just in you know what I mean.
Mhm.
It's like you've lived the story, or you have family that's lived the story in certain aspects, and it's just I don't know. I'm just again not a bad movie, but it's I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing pain. I'm tired of seeing
it
pain.
was, I mean, mostly predictable as the kind of stuff you would see from this type of story. Like, black man deals with racism. It cost him a lot of stuff. He kind of snaps a little bit.
No, he definitely snap. He
Yeah,
definitely does snap, and
but
he was he
it's
was right. He was right all the way up until he pushed his wife on the ground. As
okay.
far as the way he was feeling,
Uh, it's I. It feels weird saying this, but it seems a little stereotypical in that type of fashion, the story wise. But I
yeah.
mean, it doesn't make it not true. Like that's what life was like,
But I was gonna
like
say it
for
was in the
them. But
'60s though, so
yeah,
dudes were
but
and this wasn't even like race related as far as people putting their hands on their wives back like the '60s and back. That was just I'm not saying everybody, so don't come at me, fuck it at me. I don't care, but I'm not saying everybody. But we all know that I won't say it was okay to do this, but I'll say like society didn't frown upon it as much as they should and as they do now, with a man slapping his wife because she didn't do something he wanted her to do.
did he actually hit her? Or was it just a shove? Or what, did
No,
he hit her on the bed?
he shoved her on the ground.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is just like that was just normal in those. I'm not
Oh,
defending
no.
it, but I'm saying that type of shit was just normal in those type of days, those type of times.
See, what one of the reasons this movie was is a 3 for me, other than the story kind of just being usual and boring, I thought was it felt like these people were acting like they were being forced to act, like they had a gun on them and
I see
whoever
that.
had it was like act because this is some of the worst acting I've ever seen, even for a movie in the '60s.
Yeah,
Like there was it looked like the first time acting for everybody. There
I
was
can see that.
literally like no emotion from any character. Very brief glimpses from the main
I'll see
character.
now with the emotion thing, it could be a multitude of things because as men, just not even making shit up, but as men, you kind of hide your emotions. But I get what you're saying because there's certain scenes where it's like when people
But
are
it was
arguing.
like it was, yeah, and well, first off, the main female, she was like a robot up until the very end.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. But I'm just saying, like, it could be because of that, and then just you know, being a black man, you show even less emotion, and you try to kind of just have like this tough exterior all the time, which is stupid. But you know,
But even then, it just looked like they picked some people off the street and said, "Hey, say these lines,"
yeah.
awkwardly.
And you know what? I will say this with these type of movies, like I don't mind the stories too much. I do get tired of seeing them, but I want to see more of the ones where there is actually actual good white people because there was a lot of good white people then that wouldn't be like how these most of them were in this movie. Most of them were because there was one guy he didn't seem too bad. He just kind of it was the gas station, the guy who owned the gas station.
Yeah, yeah, no, he seemed fine until, they threatened
He
to
had,
burn down his business, then it's like
which he was like in those times it was like they can burn down my business and then let's say I hired you and paid you more or hired you over a white guy and I can go to the cops and they'll say, well, you hired this, I'm not even gonna say the word, over a white guy. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, I and he understood though. He's like, no, guy, he's like, you don't gotta apologize. I understand. Basically, he was, in that situation
Yep.
because, but it's just crazy. Like it shows you all that shit. But I'm just like, I don't want to contradict myself because, like, again, I don't hate these type of stories, but maybe if this one was told better, like maybe if the acting was better, maybe if the story was told a little bit better. But and again, having like one or two good white people in the movie,
I
because in
mean
these situations, there's always one or two. You know what I mean? There's more than that, but there's always at least one or two that have that. That there's a handful that, and these times I'm saying there's a handful that like disagree with the racism and all that stuff, but won't say anything.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
there's like one or two that are just like, nah, fuck this, and speak up. And they didn't have that in this movie at all, which was kind of you had the one guy that wasn't bad, he was kind of quiet, so you had him. But I feel like you should have had a few more that were similar to him, and then one or two that would just be like, yo, no, this is fucked up type of deal.
Like, I feel like the basis for a much better movie was there with the story and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
But
because this one focuses more on not like a movement. It focuses more on just like the because it's nothing but a man, I guess. But it focuses on like the everyday man in those times. You know what I mean?
and we're totally haven't even touched on the whole father aspect here, where he goes to see his dad that basically rejected him, and his dad's a drunk, doesn't
Yep.
want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Dude, the scene where he's dancing with his his dad's new wife there, or who I assume they're married.
Girlfriend. No, because he remember his father told him never get married or whatever.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, the son's dancing with her, and he's just standing at the bar watching him. I'm like, this is weird.
Drunk as shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
with his lame arm.
Mm-hmm. It was something, man. And I'm just like, what the? Just I don't know. I don't know. The movie being in black and white, that usual cheat code for me for these older movies, it didn't work for me with this one. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Like I said, I gave it a 5. It wasn't a bad movie. Yes, the acting could have been better. I guess the story could have been a little better, but I get what they were trying to do. I understand the story and all that shit, but it's just like and again, this is from the 60s, but this is for movies even nowadays. Like if you're gonna tell these type of stories, like have a message with them. Have a message with them. I guess you can kind of say this does in a sense, but have a deeper message with them, and just have a really good story to where you're just like, oh my god, yo, this movie was fucking phenomenal. I normally don't go for these type of movies, but this movie was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. Do some shit like that.
From what I could find, so the screenplay was written by two guys, one or two guys. I think two guys were involved, but they drew on their background as Jews persecuted by the Nazis. And then before starting to write this, they went on the quest to understand the African American culture. So they moved somewhere, liberal Jews in the South. So they were moving around the South and treated, because they were liberal Jews, they were treated as pariahs, like by Christian whites, just like African Americans and stuff like that. So that's how they kind of got ingrained and started learning about stories like this. That's more interesting than the movie.
That is interesting. That's very interesting, actually.
And then apparently the main guy was a Broadway actor and went on to play. I've never seen Hogan's Heroes, but apparently he was a Staff Sergeant James Kincoy.
I think.
I know the show. I've never seen it though.
Interesting.
Famous show.
Yeah, I've heard of the show. I don't think I've ever seen it either.
And then, actually, the most interesting, other than the screenplay coming together, apparently Sidney Poitier and James Earl Jones turned down the lead role in this.
Sidney Poitier and James Earl Jones. See, now that would have changed it right there.
It may have. That would have been. I think that would have upped the acting.
Maybe they just didn't like the script.
I didn't know why. It was like a side trivia note I found.
Yeah, I'm just guessing that, or maybe they had a bigger role at the time for something a little bit.
That's entirely possible.
Sidney Poitier and fucking James Earl Jones.
The other interesting thing, so they talk about the money they're making when they're on the train team there, $80 a week. If you adjust that for inflation, I guess that comes out, at least as of 2019, to about $650 a week.
That's crazy.
So $80 a week in 1964 was pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cost of living and everything. But I think that's another connection between these movies, the father aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there isn't one, really.
No. Mahershala kind of plays a father-type role in the beginning of Moonlight, but for a kid that didn't have one. And this one, the father didn't want the kid, but he kind of comes to his senses and takes his own kid back home.
Yep, and goes back to his wife after the situation they had. That's another connection.
I don't know, man. Just watching this, I'm like, this is boring.
Finding peace.
Yeah,
And it's because when he brings his son and the wife, his wife comes home and they're all happy and hugging and shit. And then in this one, just the guy getting back with his, well, more than a friend, you find out in that movie, but getting back with his friend and just kind of going to see his mother again, like all that, going back to his home.
I did laugh a little bit with the tow truck scene where
Oh
Dustin
yeah,
goes out to get tow the white guy's car, and he's like, "Can't break it more," or something like that. I forgot what he said. He's like, "You, what was it? You're breaking it." He's like, "The tree did that," or something.
Yeah, because the guy was telling him how to do something or not to do something, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think you're supposed to hit a tree either," or some shit. And they didn't like that he was so outspoken. They didn't like that he would stand up for himself. The racist whites, that is, people.
It was interesting to see basically on how his black coworkers turned on him or turned him in.
Well, that's because they were just scared. Like,
yeah, but
no one's ever. Well, one of the guys even said, he was like, no one's ever took the lead here ever.
Yeah,
because he was right. If you guys stand up for yourselves, what the fuck are they gonna do? And again, in those times, though, people, in those times, it was a lot easier to get rid of one of us than it is now. Still pretty easy now, especially if you're wearing a badge. But there's a little more investigation going on into it nowadays. But then, nah.
You make the jokes. I'll just listen.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, you could say they're jokes, but there's a lot of truth into it.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Dude, and the bar scene right at the beginning where the camera just kept panning to what I assume she was a hooker in the bar there at the beginning.
Yeah, she was.
Right. They just keep putting the camera like right on her face. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. That wasn't a good looking one.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was.
Very weird decision.
It was. They were learning, though. They were learning.
Yeah, man. I really want to recommend this. There's a number of movies that tell this exact same story to an extent.
Or better, yeah, probably tell it better.
Do it better.
I'll say I wouldn't recommend it, but I wouldn't tell you not to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never tell you not to watch a movie, even if I hate the movies. Believe it or not, like watch Blood Lake. Well, watch at your own risk. You decide. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 5 for this movie. Again, wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. I don't know. I've seen movies that tell these type of stories that were so much better. So it's like, if you're gonna get one of those, then go. If you're gonna watch that type of movie, go with one of the better ones. Don't go with this one.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my 3. If you're into the if you are a real cinephile and need to see the old school black and white,
yeah,
more historical type version, if that's even the term I should be using, but then go for it.
But even then, there's still other movies out there. It's just, but again, if you're just trying to watch like all these older movies that just have some sort of historic message, whatever, not even just black and white, whatever your goal is to where this movie would fall under that goal, then watch it.
I mean, this movie was even added to the historical preservation list.
Boom, there you go. So you're doing some historical shit. You want to learn about some historical shit? Seriously, watch this movie then.
But I'll forget I watched it easily, or I'll confuse it with other similar movies.
Yeah, it's not something that's gonna be brought up in discussion.
No, well, at the very least, I'll forget the name.
But I mean, I could say that about a lot of movies because I'm more of a horror fan as it is, as you guys know. But still, like, there's certain movies like I know we're not gonna just, and this is one of them, I know we're not gonna just bring up and talk about randomly. Like Deadpool, I know we will. I can't think of the movie's name right now, but that puppet movie, Puppet Puss. I mean, we still say Puppet Puss. So
Hashtag Puppet Puss.
Yes, puppets are fucking. So yeah, we'll talk about certain ones here and that really jump out, either because something crazy, silly, funny, sexual, usually, and some amazing action, like some just like holy shit. But you know what? I think it's about that time to.
Is it wheel time?
Yeah, I think it's about that time. Let's see. Oh, I gotta go to the other wheel. Sign out of there.
Let's spin this shit.
Yes, yes, hell yes.
Did we put a new category on since we wrapped up one,
Oh,
or is that, or we didn't? Wait a minute.
not yet. I think we gotta get one more knocked off, and then we'll be good.
I'm right. We got some fun categories coming.
Popcorn and pints. Yeah, because I just wanted to. Yeah, I just wanted to get another one knocked off, just so you can add one, and then
And we got to prep the punishment wheel.
we really need to. We really need to work on that. I think we need to work on that this week.
We do, because this would be the perfect opportunity for, with James not being here, to have spun it.
And Chris. Well, no, Chris is actually no. Chris,
He has a legitimate reason.
Chris would pass.
There are a few excuses that will fly when it comes to missing an episode.
Yeah.
But James, we're disappointed in you not standing up to your woman. Just kidding. Not really.
He's not kidding. You pull that phone out at that restaurant.
That would be great.
You put your headphones on, and you tell everybody in the background to be quiet. Shh. Motherfucking podcast. That's what you do, James.
You just keep going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Or that. Yeah, we don't care if you bring it to the bathroom. It's not gonna bother us.
Just put it on mute.
You don't even have to put it on mute. We'll hear it. That's fine. Just keep the camera above your waist.
That's true. That's important.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only rule.
No idea. Is it
Is it going to blackness again?
chicken and grits?
Yep.
I thought this. How many more movies could be left on this wheel? I feel like we've hit this a lot.
I'm not sure. Maybe 4.
I want some wings.
Yeah, some wing. I'm some hot wings be nice right now. Chicken and grits. Yeah, we have 4.
God. Oh, some good stuff.
So, should we just make this our next 2 episodes then? Because it'll finish this wheel off, and then we can pull a new wheel on.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Oh God, I haven't seen House Party in so long. I know I've seen Equalizer. I'm pretty sure. What was Do the Right Thing?
That was a good movie with Spike Lee. I think it was like one of his first ones.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Keanu, I have not seen.
Me either. Keanu.
I feel like this has some fun potential.
I hope so. It should, though. It should.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, and a cat with a cat with a hat backwards.
How can you go wrong?
You can't. I think Do the Right Thing has some funniness to it and some serious, and you already know how House Party is. Fucking love House Party.
Equalizer it is.
And House Party and Do the Right Thing. Actually, that's a great lineup the next episode of House Party and Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, those two probably go good together. Denzel.
Fucking he was on like half this damn wheel. Oh my gosh. Just want to write it down or put it on the list.
He's another actor that we could have done an entire wheel of.
Yeah, he's fucking. I mean, with this wheel, I feel like there was at least.
There had to be at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, and House Party and Do the Right Thing. All right.
Back to back black.
Yes. 3 weeks of darkness. I'm happy as shit. 3 weeks of black.
Just like 3 shades of Moonlight here.
Mm-hmm.
Three Moonlight characters.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're right. Wow. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's at each stages of his life that they showed. Oh my god.
Did that just dawn on you?
Yes. I finally as you were saying it, I finally paid attention to the cover.
Oh man.
Holy wait, so this is 97, 98. So we got episode 98 and 99, and episode 100 is gonna be, you know which one.
Yep.
Holy shit. Wow. Our next 3 episodes. Anyway. Moonlight. And
I'm
yeah,
excited.
I just realized it because what happened, like I seen the cover, I paid attention, well, not close, I guess, not close enough. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool color with the different lightings. That's all I noticed.
You didn't realize that was three
even
faces?
No, not till just now. And it makes so much sense. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. Like that. Wow.
We'll do early ratings.
Yeah. I gave this one an 8 with potential to go up.
I did the exact same 8.
And you want to kick it off with this one?
Yeah, man. I think I may have been the one that put it on whichever wheel this was. I don't remember, but I know I've been wanting to watch it.
Yeah, you did. The chicken and grits wheel.
Yeah, since so it came out in 2016. It won Academy Award for Best Picture. Mahershala Ali had won Best Supporting Actor on only 20 minutes of screen time.
Wow.
And then what else did it win? It won Best Adapted Screenplay. So there was a lot of awards for this movie. So I was really intrigued to finally excited to get down and watch it. And this movie was really good, man. I like the way they split up the adolescence and maturity of the character into kind of three movies in one.
Yeah, 3 parts. Yeah. Definitely.
And then actually it's what I've read is something crazy. It's the first all black film, I think, to win the Best Academy Award for Best Picture and the first LGBTQ film.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So a lot of firsts for this movie. And the story was, I thought the story was just really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mahershala was great. I'm a big fan of his, but I didn't remember what the story was even supposed to be other than I knew he was in it. But,
you mean when you picked it, right?
Yeah. And then the 3 actors that play the character of how do you pronounce his name? Chiron? Chiron, that's it. Each of them were great, man, in the versions they played.
They were.
Like, that little kid was great. It just seemed like he was scared all the time. And then
technically there was 4 that played him, but they didn't show the little kid that. Or wait, no, there was a little kid. Oh shit, no, it was 3. It was the little kid, him as a teenager, and then him as an okay.
Yeah. And from what I was reading, none of those 3 actors met each other, which the writer didn't want. This way they wouldn't kind of see how each one was playing the character or influence.
Wow.
But when you watch it, the character has that same kind of quiet mentality that each actor did.
You're right about that. And like the cool thing about it was like at each age he got better. Like he got better with it until the end of towards the end of when he's an adult, but towards the end of the movie when he's an adult, when he gets that phone call.
Yeah.
He's like back to his shy self again.
Yeah.
But wow. That's dope that they didn't meet each other and they still acted that well to make it feel like it was really one person growing up from a child to an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even all black people don't look alike. Before I say this, even having very similar features and looking very similar. Like I thought that they did a really good job with the casting for the characters that
they did, man. I think
an older age.
I will also purposely state that I don't think all black people look the same, but I think in that scenario, if you're going to try to portray the same character at 3 different generations, you need to at least find 3 black people that have the same features to keep the look. And this where the scene where Mahershala realizes it's the kid's mother in the car that's lighting up down the street from his dealer.
Mhm.
That was crazy.
That was. But
Like,
you kind of knew. Well, I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but it
you,
was
like
still
you
like,
knew.
oh shit.
I didn't. The first time you meet her, I wasn't sure that there was anything wrong with her because it seemed normal. Where she's like in her scrubs, and you think, oh, maybe she's a nurse or something and
Mhm.
just works a lot. And then they kind of, the next time you see her, she's definitely got something going on, and she grabs this shit from the table and goes in the room with her fella there.
Oh, I knew it right. I knew it right then and there. Which I just want to show you guys. So the chicken and grits wheel is gone. Well, now it is, and it got replaced with another wheel. I'm gonna show you guys. Just give you guys a teaser what the other wheel is.
Oh,
So
what
you'll
are we
see that
putting
in a
up
couple of
there?
weeks. Actually, you won't even see it until after episode 100.
Nope.
I could just wait till episode 100 to show you guys. And just
Yeah,
show.
let's debut new wheels on episode 100.
Yep, you're gonna see the new wheel on episode 100. I'll show Chris after the episode though.
Yes. I thought it was cool the way Mahershala and the kid developed a little bond to the point where that scene, dude, where the kid shows up and Mahershala's like, dude, don't sit that way at my table. Never have your back to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know where the conversation's going to go. And then, like, out of nowhere, the kid's like, so what's a faggot?
Yeah.
I'm like, and then just the acting in that scene from that point on,
Yeah, and
fantastic.
the way he said it was like, that's something that people say to be mean to gay people. And then he was like, don't let anybody ever call you that. Like, stand up for yourself. He's like, you can be gay. That's fine. I don't care. Which was cool. It was just cool because, again, especially in that type of environment, because the guy was a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, like, just with that type of environment, you could say with music, with everything, it was like gay was just like not masculine. You know, it was terrible. I'm not saying being gay is terrible. I'm just saying how it was portrayed as.
Yep.
And this movie was just basically telling the kid to, whatever you are, be yourself. I like how he was like, you don't have to worry about that right now, though.
Yeah,
You're a
it's
kid.
like, how do I know? She's like, you just know,
know.
you know, you don't have to know right now.
Yeah, he was like, you don't have to worry about that right now. And in a sense of, it was just like, just enjoy yourself right now. Be a kid. Just worry about being a kid.
And then the kid's like, do you sell drugs? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, does my mom do drugs or did
Yeah.
he sell to her? And he admits it, and the kid leaves, and Mahershala starts crying. I'm like, damn, that's such a great scene.
It really is. And again, I loved, like, with this, I love the honesty with it. Like, when the guy was
He didn't lie, man.
he didn't lie to the kid at all about anything.
No.
And I'm just like, damn. Did they show when he died in the movie?
No, they didn't show it, and I don't even think they mentioned it.
They did.
Well, they mentioned that he
it.
wasn't around. There was, like, a funeral, but they don't mention how he died.
Yeah, yeah. They mentioned that he passed a couple times, but they don't mention how. And I'm just like, why did he have to die off though?
I don't know. I assume
You know what?
it's an indication because he's a drug dealer that just getting tied up in that world.
Maybe. I was gonna say the other thing would be, had he been still living, he wouldn't have I forgot the kid's name though. He wouldn't have ended up being a drug dealer.
Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon.
But
I don't think the guy would have let him.
So
he would have steered him from that.
I mean, possibly. I would, just based on their interactions, I would think so. But at the same time, well, he wasn't doing anything like that in his high school
No.
scene. But when he goes and stays at Teresa's house and she's making the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and she says the line, "You would want thick as thieves," or something like that, which leads me to believe they were still like he still like mentored the kid, and they hung out a lot after that or something up until whenever he did die.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because she was saying like how much they were so alike with their personalities, like so much freaking alike. And I'm like, wow. And it was another thing that was kind of cool. That was cool with it is the guy just like, he didn't know the kid when he first meets him, and he just from day one, kind of just does like this kind of father type role, like fatherhood type of role for him.
Mhm.
Gave him money, and then ends up, like, hey, you can come to my house and stay whenever you need to. Feeds him all this other stuff, and he never does like. You never see him trying to push him into the whole drug dealer type of lifestyle, even though he's
Nope.
living with him here and they're kind of living with him. He definitely takes care of him and stuff. But you never see him like push him, because there is films where you see, that's just the lifestyle, and so they're just trying to get the kid in the lifestyle and this, that, and the third. But you never see him trying to gear him towards that. And the way he's talking to him, it's almost like he wishes he wasn't in it.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, like you said, phenomenal acting in this movie. I might have to bump this one up. This was a
Even
really good movie.
acting and writing, man. The story is good. And then, when he's a teenager there and the kid that he is in love, his friend Kevin that he's in love with or has the crush on, after their beach scene, uh, the guy with the dreads tells him to punch him in the face, and he
Mm-hmm.
just keeps doing it. Like that, I'm like, God damn, and like he kept getting up.
Yep.
That was intense.
It was. And then fucking when he comes back to school the next day
The
and just
chair,
he just listen, man.
he
You fuck
laid that
people.
he fucking laid him out.
Laid him the fuck out. I think, you know what? I feel like I think I wanted to see this movie because I've seen that. I don't know if I watched it like on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook, seeing like a clip from this movie, and I remember that scene right there.
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh shit, what movie is this? I want to see that." I think it
I
was that, and I think it was the scene where his friend kept punching him in the face and he kept getting back up. I think those are two main scenes, because I remembered seeing those scenes outside. You know what I mean? Like outside of this movie, I was like, I've seen those before somewhere.
and, I do wish there was some kinda indication what happened to that kid the kid with the dreads after he hit him with the chair, because they don't it's not mentioned again,
No, it's not.
and I kinda love the downward spiral they put his mom on through the first 2/3 of this movie. Her just getting worse and worse as he's getting
Hmm.
older.
Hmm. But see, now again, they're telling stories like Black Pain, but this one tells the story so much better than the other one.
On top of the great acting, yeah.
Yeah, it tells the story so much better than the other one. It tells multiple stories, and yeah, back to the mother. You're right. Like her downward spiral, the way they showed it, it just made it so realistic. Like this is how some people of all races, this isn't just a black thing, but all races have to deal with a parent or parents being on.
An addict.
Yeah, and that could be fucking just getting drunk every single day. It doesn't have to be a hardcore. Well, you could say alcohol is a hardcore drug in a sense, I guess, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be a street drug, an illegal drug, I'll say.
Mhm.
And it just shows like the decline. And then when she finally wants to get help and finally gets help and gets clean, she's like, I'm just gonna stay at the clinic and just help other people. She's like, it's the best thing for me.
Dude,
And
that scene was rough too.
it
Wow.
was because he told his mother to her face that he hated her. He always hated her.
Yeah, man.
And you can't fault him either.
Nope, they're both crying. She's telling him she loves him now. I may not have loved you at the right times in the past, but he's like, I
She's
hate you, mom.
she was, yeah, she said, and you have a right to hate me. She was like, I
Yep.
can't hate you. I have to love you. I love you. And I
That
was
was
wow.
that scene was awesome acting too, man. Like each of the three characters that portray Sharon were awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I just bumped this score up 2 fucking times, people. I gave it a 10. I moved up to it. I was like, let me give it a 9. I was like, you know what, fuck this. No, because the more we're talking about it, I'm like, excuse me. And again, it's really sticking to me what you told me about how the three actors that played Sharon never met each other at all. Which is just because the way that the character acted. I know it's in the script and all that other stuff, but still, it seemed like it gave you the feeling that, which the movie was trying to do, but it gave you the feeling that they recorded this movie, say, when the kid was about 7 years old, 8 years old, then again when he's in his teens, and then again when he's an adult. So again when he's in his teens, and again when he's maybe 28, 30, like young 30s, late 20s, early 30s, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what their ages were. I would assume the oldest Sharon was in his early 30s,
Yeah, no order.
just
I say no
based
later.
on time jumps. Here's a fun little fact. So if you adjust the budget for inflation for this film, the budget was 1.5 million. It
Wow,
is regarded as the lowest budgeted winner of a Best Picture award ever.
that's awesome. That's awesome. This movie right here, going back to the conversation of like that whole, I guess just trying to tell this story, honestly. Just trying to tell this story. Like it's a guy in a sense. Well, he doesn't even really. He only came out to one person, but he still came out in a sense.
No, the one and only guy he ever let touch him and he's ever touched.
Yeah, and he said he hasn't really messed with anybody since.
Yep.
I'm just like, that's, hey man, that's love. There's no other way of saying it.
I think it goes also back to where Mahershala and his girl at the time are just like, when you know. And just talking to him, though, that's the only time he
Yeah,
knew.
yeah,
It sounded like.
yeah. His friend surprised me though. Like you weren't expecting it, but
No, like the whole diner scene too, man. I felt it was I felt like there was tension. I just kind of kept waiting for something to happen.
mhm,
And the acting there was really great too. It didn't. Obviously, they kind of reconnect there at the very end.
yeah, yeah, they did.
I'm like, but I still was a little on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure which way this is gonna go.
What's gonna happen next, guys? What's gonna
Yeah.
happen next? Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a sexual way. Like,
No, 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 no. Just in general, like what's
yeah.
gonna happen? Are they gonna fight? Are they gonna become good friends? Are they gonna start? Are they gonna get married? All that other shit. No, I know what you mean by that.
And I mean, I thought it was a good way to end it without going by too far down the road at all. They,
Of anything, yeah.
yeah.
Of anything, yeah. Because you could just kind of just okay, so this is probably how it ended, whatever. But it was just what was crazy too, because it was funny how his friend was like, "So now you're a street dude, but when you were a kid, you were running from everybody, basically."
Hmm.
Shit changed, and I mean, he was locked up and then moved to Atlanta and had to just he was what do you say? I rebuilt myself or changed from
Yeah,
rebuilt ground up.
he met some guy in prison he started working for
Like
and just worked
working
his
for them.
way up the ranks.
Yeah. So it's definitely a movie that I would highly recommend, honestly. And it's one of those ones where you just want to kind of sit down, watch it, pay attention to it. It's a really good story. And
I'll bump my score up to a 9 now that we're talking
I,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, it's no, it was a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I watched it. It was a
Yeah,
really good
man.
film.
6 years later, finally watched it.
Hey, man, there's a lot of movies that I have seen for the first time that were out in the 80s and all this other shit. So it's like 30 years later, I found it. I watched it. 16 bad.
The but yeah, this I would recommend this to anybody. And this movie could have easily been longer than it was too. So I think the editing played a big role here
It really could, honestly, it really could have, because you could have,
because this is just under 2 hours.
because yeah, I think it was like an hour and 50 minutes. Because I'll say in the third act, I guess when he's an adult,
Yep.
that story could have been told a little bit longer. That could have been a little longer story.
Mhm.
Like they could have showed him, not that they had to, but in a sense of working his way up, or
Yeah,
maybe talking to somebody in prison at one point, and then later in the movie, later on you see him working his way up, and then he's who he is
it
now.
it's interesting because they just clearly decided to focus on 3 specific time periods as opposed to any of the story that happened in between those. Like you said, there could have been, like, flashes or something of him
Mhm.
growing up.
I mean,
So and it
they
works.
they did, but they did show a decent amount of him as a child and a decent amount of him as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
And as his adult life is what I'm saying. They showed a decent amount of it, but not as much as the other two. But
No, but even
but I think it was again going back to when his friend was saying like this isn't how you were growing up as a kid. So it was more so like maybe that's why they want to show you the transition and all that, so you'd kind of figure out you like how did he become this.
mhm.
And it's not, maybe it's just not, maybe that part was just not that important. It's just like this is what he is now, and he kind of
Or
explains it.
we if you think about it, you want to know how he ended up as the drug dealer, we are learning for the first time along with his friend Kevin, who he's come back and telling what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's an interesting way to think about it.
that's true too. I mean, you could say that, and then I mean, you could say you can almost see the signs because again, the guy who was taking care of him for all those years was a drug dealer. Not saying that he was telling him to be one, but he was one, and then his mother was on drugs, so it's like he was around him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was around him all the time, and hey, shit happens. I guess that's another way of saying it. And shit, but no, this was a really good movie, really good story. Yeah, I'm giving this shit a 10. Highly recommend it.
One more quick note on Mahershala, first person of Muslim faith to win an Academy Award for acting.
Dope.
Because he's a Muslim.
A lot of firsts. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
This was good. This was really good. This is the way you tell a story. Like if you're gonna tell a serious story like this is the way to do it.
This is at 100%, dude. With a budget that low to be getting this kind of recognition and winning the awards it did, it was all in the writing and the acting and the execution.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Agreed. Anything else you want to say about either one of these two movies?
No, man. Watch Moonlight.
Yeah, I seriously watch. I mean, if you want to watch them both, but definitely, if you're only going to choose one, make it Moonlight. Amazing film, but we're going to get on out of here. I'm going to pull these up real quick, and then we're going to go bye-bye, Kins.
Early night.
Yes, sir. So, guys, Z Network, check out everybody on the Z Network. Here's some people you should check out. Worst Damn Gamer Ever. You check them out on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter and TikTok. Dreams the Creator, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, at Dreams the Creator. He made my overlay. He makes a lot of dope overlays, all kinds of crazy cool shit for us. Any last words, Joe? Go check her out. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and she has a Patreon. So Good It's Scary. Check out So Good It's Scary on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Hop on over to Horror Source 30. Go to horrorsource30.com. You'll get all of my content, all of my episodes. So there's no live Horror Source 30 podcast episodes next week. I may do a few watch parties.
Wow.
But yeah, so I'm not doing it. So there's no show next week, Tuesday and Thursday. The audios from last week will still drop, but there's gonna be no live shows Tuesdays and Thursday. I may do some gaming this week and some watch parties, but no podcast. Popcorn and Pints. We will be back next Saturday, and we are doing Keanu and Equalizer. So make sure you guys pull up for that episode 98. No, 97. No,
98, man.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, 98.
Numbers are hard.
Yeah. Episode 98, 9:00 Eastern time. Pull up for that. Stories from a Bar. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Make sure you check out Stories from a Bar. You're gonna get some awesome brewery talk along with some awesome talk with some music creators.
That is true.
Check that out. Crack yourself a nice cold one. Anytime you want to visit the 518, if you ever want to visit the 518, check out Stories from a Bar. You can know where you can get a great crisp brew from. Crisp brew. And make sure you guys check out the Z Network. Oh, we're getting all of our porn spam now.
Oh, it took a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. But on that note, guys.
I also, one other quick note, I feel it's important to say, James, you're a loser.
Mm-hmm.
We're very disappointed in you.
Very.
Yes.
Broke our hearts.
It's true.
Listen, we are going to come up with a punishment wheel, and we're going to come up with some rules behind the scenes. Yes.
It hurts.
Both of us. Making it upside down. We're going to come up with the rules and all that. We're going to come up with a punishment wheel. And basically, if you miss a Saturday podcast, with the exception of
emergencies or reasonable excuses.
Yes. Vacation's not a reasonable excuse.
Nope.
Especially when you do it all the time.
Spending time with your family is not a reasonable excuse.
Nope. It's not. But yeah, we're gonna come up with that. People, thanks for popping by. We'll see you again. Peace.